Hi, my name's Shelley Donahue, and like you, I am the shape of my secrets. And what I mean by that is those things that we keep hidden, that are dark, painful, and negative, have the most profound power to shape who we are on the inside. And in order to take that power back, we have to confront those things and actually dig out the positive lessons learned and move forward, wielding them as a tool for purpose and change. And I carried my secret for a long time, 35 years. Mine happened to me when I was 4 years old, and I told no one in my friend or family circle who could actually help me process things. Had I, as a child, been able to express what happened, and had I learned skills to counter erroneous thinking that resulted from what happened, I'm sure my life would have been very different today than it is, because I have been less than the success I want to be due to those things that I have been thinking. It really causes a domino effect. Now, I hesitate to tell my story sometimes because I don't want people walking away feeling sorry for me. I don't feel sorry for myself. I feel sorry for the child that I used to be and what I had to go through, the pain that I processed through my life. But I don't feel sorry for myself. I actually feel like as an adult I've gone from victim to victor. And I want to share with you how I did that. Now, your secret may not be the same as mine, and this is not about particular secrets. This is about the residue from every secret, things that are common threads like pain, fear, shame, false guilt. All of those things are common no matter what your secret is. You could have been bullied at school, you could have had highly critical parents, you could have been mugged. For me, unfortunately, my secret is all too common today, but when it happened to me in the 1970s, it was a very rare thing. Consequently, people didn't know how to properly deal with it, and it wasn't talked about. But I was molested at the hands of a neighbor when I was just 4 years old. And what that did was it affected or twisted my view of men, of relationship, and most significantly, my definition of love. And when I look back over the course of my life and the fact that my major desire has been to be in a loving relationship with someone, and the fact that I made two really unwise choices in who I married, because I have had 2 divorces, I think to myself, had I just been able to tell the right person as a kid, I believe I would have been able to process those things that happened to me, and I would have been taught skill sets to make better choices rather than basing them on my emotion. Because for me, I don't know how everybody feels who's been sexually traumatized, and it may be different between genders, like different for a male than a female. But for me, one of the, or actually the biggest negative result, the thing that's been driving me most of my life, has been this desire to prove myself worthy of being loved. Now, that doesn't mean I have poor self-esteem or low self-worth, because as an adult, I understand that I have great value as a human. I'm a good citizen, I have wonderful ideas, I love to share with people, help people. So I know I have worth as a human, but when it comes to that whole sexual, emotional connection thing, there's a real deficit, which is why I've had 2 failed marriages, and why I'm not in the loving relationship that I really desire to be in. I didn't realize for many, many, many years, 35 years, that that was what was driving me, this desire to prove myself worthy of love. Because as a child, when something sexual happens to you and it traumatizes you, you end up thinking that's all you're good for. That guys only look at you as something to have fun with on a sexually gratifying level. And the desire inside me was to, yes, be sexually desirable but to a guy, but to go beyond that and have someone actually say, not only are you worth, you know, having a little fun with, but you actually are worth loving in a long-term committed relationship. And I really believe that both times I got married, it was more of a, see, I'm married, I'm worth loving. And I know that sounds completely nutty, but I'm just saying that that's where I was at the time. And I hadn't processed everything or dealt with everything. Even though I had seen counselors, and I don't mean like psychologist counselors, I mean like Christian counselors. I had gone and I had talked to a couple of different ones about things in my life, and I hit on the sexual trauma as part of it. But the issue was never really resolved until on the cusp of my second divorce, I started facing some things. Now, I've been divorced about 3.5 years, and I've been on my own. I've dated a few guys. I've had emotional feelings, profound emotional feelings for one, and for the first time ever in my life have felt a connection that I believe bridges sexual attraction and emotion. Ironically, the guy feels the same way on certain things, but is in no position really at this juncture in his life, because of things he has to work out, to go forward in any kind of relationship with me or anyone else. So what do you know? You know, that's the way life works sometimes, isn't it? And so now that causes a different kind of ache, if you want to call it that, and living with the knowledge, hey, I finally think I bridged that gap, but now nothing can be done about it. So that causes its own kind of trauma, but it's a bittersweet trauma with kind of a joy at the bottom of it, you know what I mean? And it's hard for people who haven't been in my position to understand that. But anyway, that's just off on a tangent, a little bit about me and where I'm at emotionally speaking. Your secret may not involve sexual trauma, but I can guarantee you that your secret, whatever it may be, involves something, some sort of a residue that has left you broken, and that produces those common threads I talked about. So what I want to do is take my story, without being graphically sexual in nature, you know, talking about my own story, but let you know sort of what happened, and see if some of you can apply your own secrets to the results that I discovered within my own life. And I think these things might help some people to improve their way of making choices and their way of thinking, and taking back the power, the negative power those secrets have held over you, because really all secrets are driven by one thing. The main thing is fear. Everything else that sprouts out of that secret has its root in fear. And so it's just a matter of changing that fear into faith. And it doesn't mean you have to be of any particular religious bent, but faith that life was meant to be good, if you get down to the basics of it, that God gave you life for it to be a good thing. And I just want to share with you how this all came about, how I discovered this stuff. And I'm no psychologist. You know, if you feel that you really have a deep-rooted issue and you need to talk to somebody, you know, who's professionally trained in psychology, I encourage you to do that. Or to find a pastor or a priest or a rabbi who can help you. There are plenty of people who would love to talk to you about your problem. But in the meantime, if you want to just hear what I've got to say, I'd love to share with you. I actually am available to speak to any group, big or small. All I ask is that you guys get me there, provide my travel expenses, and then take up a free will donation. I'm never going to charge a set fee for what I have to say. So as long as my needs are met, I'll share, even if it ends up only helping 1 or 2 people, you know. So please feel free to go to my website. Don't let me get tongue-tied here. But my website is called The Shape of Secrets. It's www.shapeofsecrets.com. Again, www.shapeofsecrets.com. You can find out my contact information on there. Give me a shout. I also want to let you know that in terms of the sexual abuse, I am making myself available as well to civic organizations that fight child abuse. And those kind of fees, because they would not be donation based, I'm negotiable. I will talk to you about whatever's in your budget. That goes for law enforcement, you know, school officials, any kind of nonprofit group that deals with abuse or trauma, domestic violence, you name it. I'd be glad to give my input. So I look forward to talking to you. I hope I've come across in a genuine and real way, because I do care about people, and I hope that my life, even though it's been difficult, can in some way help someone else. So again, my name is Shelly Donahue, and I proudly am the shape of my secrets.